Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 100 of the Podcana podcast. Yes, we made it to 100 episodes. Unfortunately, Brendan and Moyen are not here for the 100th episode anniversary, but I'm going to be doing a separate video with Brendan and Moyen tomorrow where we're going to be showing off our card reveal for Set 8 Reign of Jafar and also celebrating a little bit and also discussing some of the topics and news that we're going to be discussing in today's episode. I just want to say a few words because it is 100 episodes. It's been quite the journey, and we are very thankful to every single one of you who have tuned into an episode of the podcast. We love this community so much, and we'll do our best to continue what we're doing far into the future. It's crazy to think that it's nearly been 2 years of this podcast, so we love you all, and thank you so much for all of the support. Before we jump into all of this amazing news, I have to introduce our guests. We have first up Kim. Kim is my fiance, travels to all of the DLCs with me. I think she made her first appearance on the podcast when we did some starter deck stuff, and people have been asking for her back ever since. Our second guest is Harlan.
Popular
Yes, our second guest is Harlan. Harlan is a very well-known competitive player. We've had him on the podcast before. A blue steel main, if you will. And again, I've known Harlan for probably, I think, over a year at this stage, and it's always
a year.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure seeing him at the DLCs and other events. And we also have Allie joining us, who is Harlan's partner. I think myself and Kim first met Allie at the Set 7, the Influencer UK Set Champs. And I follow Allie on Twitter, and I see all of her amazing results that she puts up, all of the set champs. So excited to see how you guys do at this set champs, because it seems to be an exciting one. I haven't played any set champs this season yet, but hoping to fit some in within the next few weeks. So thank you everybody for joining us. It's great to be amongst friends. Kim actually pointed out this is slowly turned into the couples Lorcana podcast.
It's so cute. I was like, blessed.
Yeah. So
what a 100th episode.
Yeah. You know, next I should get Brendan's partner or Moyen's partner on the podcast and make a tradition for episode 200.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Or maybe Brendan and Moyen are each other's partners. Who knows? Anyways, so we usually have our building section. Because we have a lot of news to cover today, we're going to be skipping over this, but I really encourage you guys to drop some comments down below and query us about our thoughts about these. If you want us to specify about any of this news or announcements, be sure to pop a comment down below. So the first main topic that we're going to be discussing is set rotation. So set rotation is something that happens in many other card games, and a big reason as well I wanted to have the girls on is I believe, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, this is your first physical trading card game. Is that correct? Kim, have you played anything? Allie?
No, I had Pokemon cards.
Okay, you had Pokemon cards.
It's yours.
Okay, it is also my first physical trading card game, although I have played digital.
It's the first one that I've played properly.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh with my friends when I was 16, but I had one starter deck and that was it, so I don't think that really counts.
Sure. So, yeah, I know set rotation is kind of a big announcement for a lot of people, but myself and Harlan are quite familiar with it from other card games we've played, and I know a lot of people have reacted to it in certain ways. I think probably for the most part, people can view it as a negative thing because suddenly all of these cards you've built up over time and collecting, you cannot use anymore unless you play them in the newly announced Infinity constructed format, which is a format where you can play all of the cards rather than the core constructed format. And I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts on it from maybe, again, players who aren't too familiar with this concept and how you guys view it, because for me personally, I can see it only as a positive, but I can understand people's feelings when they're like, okay, I have all of these cards and suddenly I can't play with them. I understand that feels bad, but for the competitive integrity of the game, for a lot of the reasons that you guys watching probably already heard talked about on the live stream, I think it's definitely a positive for the game moving forward. But Ali, I'd love to start with you. When you first found out about set rotation, were you a bit like, oh my god, all of my cards, or how did you feel?
I was kind of terrified, but I kind of get anxious every time a new set comes out because it means everything's changing and I get really comfortable in what I'm playing. So the idea of most of my deck not being playable anymore kind of terrifies me. But I think I'll kind of just handle it like I do when every new set comes out. I let like the experts build the decks, and then I'll be like, okay, I'll just play this one. But I kind of collect the cards just for collecting them's sake anyway, so it doesn't affect me too much. Like I collect Hello Kitty card games. I don't play that. I just like pretty cards, so I'm just happy to have more art versions of the cards when they reprint some of them.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. And Kim, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think if we get alt art cards of the same versions, it's going to be beautiful. But like coming for people who are only joining the game now, I think it's great, because if they're only coming in like set 9 and they aren't able to access like set 1 cards, okay, they're probably expensive and stuff. But if B Prep is going to be gone and not reprinted, I'm going to be really upset.
Yeah, that's going to be a really weird reveal season, I think, because like some of the reveals, they're just going to be actually revealing cards that are kept in rotation, if that makes sense. Like the ones we saw today, which were the Giant Tinkerbell, the Rockstar Stitch. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see those reveals. So I'm quickly going to move over to a slideshow, and we can continue to discuss about set rotation. So yeah, as you guys can see on the screen right now, we have the graphic for the first set rotation that's going to take place. So once Fabled, aka Set 9, rolls around this September, the playable sets are going to be Set 5 to Set 9. And looking at this also, as you said, Allie, kind of terrifies me, because I think about a lot of the cards from Set 5 to Set 7 right now, and I can think of some staples like Tipo and Sail within the Sapphire decks, but suddenly a lot of removal cards are gone, and there's just a few meta cards like Genies and Calhouns that I can see, but it's a bit scary. And I think the biggest thing I'm intrigued to find out about is what other cards are going to be reprinted in Set 9. So Harlan, I'd love to get your overall thoughts on this kind of idea of set rotation, maybe even looking at this graphic from Set 5 to Set 9. Obviously we don't know the Set 8 and Set 9 cards yet, but what are your thoughts on what that meta might look like overall? It's so hard to say, right?
Yeah. I think the most interesting thing with the set rotations is because I'm sort of a person who's been around TCG since he was a wee nipper, since I was very young. This is like nothing new to me. And it was like, I was pretty sure when Lorcana launched, like I just knew the natural progression was a lot of games do a rotation. I think Yu-Gi-Oh is the only one that has a ever-changing ban list, which they just every year they'll ban some cards and release some new ones. So we knew like both those options were on the table for Lorcana. I think people thought there was going to be some weird hybrid because Lorcana likes to do things like 2-game format, where they're like, no, we'll do our own thing. But I think this is the most healthy way to do it. I knew it was coming, and I've had to learn to step back and with like new players who've joined in. I've only let this very recently and like kind of be a bit nicer about it, because of course in my head I know it's happening, I understand it, but they might be like, it's completely first TCG, and they're like, oh, all my cards are going. I'm like, no, but it's a good thing. And just telling them it's a good thing whilst they're losing half of their set, it's not like the right answer, I think. So I'm having to learn that. I think it's all healthy. It's very hard as well, because Lorcana's basically joined an industry which has been going for 20-30 years. Like Magic and Pokemon have had like this going on. They've found the right groove with it. Their community is quite happy with it as well. Their community is fairly happy with the rotations that happen in Pokemon. I think it was the guy at Axion said like the people who make Lorcana have had to learn to run before they've had to learn to walk, which is completely true. They've had to jump into this and really go head on. I think the meta is going to evolve amazingly. I think they can also, with rotations, you can learn things. I think they can learn things like a lot of the songs they wrote in the early sets were just insanely powerful. Like Let the Storm Rage On, Strength of the Raging Fire. A lot of these songs, if you actually look at the songs in the later set, like they barely get played, because they're all like just not really on the same power level. So with rotations, players can also learn things. And I think there's cards in there. So they do it in Pokemon. If there's a card that basically needs to be around in the game, so in Pokemon you have to have a card called Pokeball, which finds you your Pokemon in your deck. I think cards like Be Prepared serve the similar purpose. If we don't have that card around, like everyone's just going to play dock decks that go like 10 cards wide every turn, and it won't be as fun a game. So I could see a lot of those being reprinted. And I think suggest cards like Ariel Spectacular Singer definitely needs a reprint. She's quite like the card that brings Amber together. You see her in Yellow Green, you see her in Amber Steel. Like those cards are just so well written. Like, even like the 5-cost Maui, like I think that needs a reprint. It's so well written. It's not overpowered. It's not underpowered. It just does the job it needs to. Reprint it. Give us tons of different art as well. That would be awesome. But I see this all as healthy. But I can also understand how scary it might seem.
For sure, yeah. And I'd also love to see some cards reprinted, such as maybe legendary, super rares, rares, even commons or uncommons, like we saw with the Winnie the Pooh, the Honey Wizard. But maybe some cards that had some opportunity to shine, but never got that opportunity. Maybe, you know, that like they had some potential, but maybe some other cards that were too powerful shut them out of the meta. So I'd love to see some of those cards come through within the reprint set in set 9.
Every set, I want the uninkable Tiana, the 4-cost one, to work. But of course, the same set, you print cards like, and at a similar time, it's cards like Brawl, Sisu, the human Sisu as well. Like, all of those cards came out, and they just made it pretty much not viable. But as you say, if you were to reprint that card in an environment where those cards don't exist, it might have a chance to shine. And I thought that was quite a cool card. Like, you just dump your hand and then you lock them out of actions. That could be a really fun deck to play. But it didn't really work because there were so many ways to answer it outside of actions. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see. And I'm going to just move on to the next graphic here that we can see. It's just, again, showing the example of rotation. So once we get to set 13, sets 5 to 8 will rotate out. And then the current core constructed metagame will be set 9 to set 13, which is going to be very interesting to see. I'm actually going to move on and talk about the World Championship within Lorcana. So we did get some dates. It's going to be June 28th and June 29th. They did show off on the stream the A Whole New World promo card. It was kind of an interesting surprise because they said that players like watching it will have an opportunity to get this promo card somehow, which is really cool because I think when we all saw this promo card at first, we just assumed, oh, this is going to be the card that all of the players will get for attending Worlds. That may still be the case. They could get like a foil version and somehow, you know, the community will be able to just get like a non-foil version. The only way I can think about it happening right now, and I'm sure this is not going to be the way they do it, is some form of Twitch drops, because that's quite common for how people can, you know, watch a certain segment of the stream, claim a reward. But I have no idea how they're going to do that with a physical reward, like a physical thing, a physical card, unless they just give us codes and then they work at some shipping thing and make up a new section of the website. But super interesting to see how that's going to work. And then we have the announcement of the caster squad. So we have Liam from the Illumineers. We've got JD from JDZ Quest, Rebecca Quests, and Brandon, who's also known as B-Squared24. And of course, we have our boy, Baker, Lorcana villain, flying over to the US to represent EU within the casting squad. I think Baker brings such energy to every Lorcana event he's part of, and I'm really glad to see him on the casting roster. I think it's going to be a super fun event to watch. Obviously, as well as they mentioned in the stream, a lot of folks would have loved to have been there, but they're really going to focus on the players and showcasing the event to the audience, which, you know, it's probably tough for some people to hear. I'm also glad that they did that little like 10-minute stream to let everybody know, please do not take time off work, do not book tickets because you won't be able to attend. And I just hope that, you know, the few mistakes and errors that were made probably in the planning process of this, obviously we've no idea what these errors could have been, but I think they will just make improvements moving forward to the next season of challenges and stuff like that. And I think already what they've been able to achieve within the first year of competitive play is absolutely amazing. As you mentioned, like they definitely have had to run instead of walk in this trading card game industry. They are not as well experienced as many other companies. Thankfully, they've learned from a lot of other companies' mistakes. But yeah, there will still be some stepping stones and hurdles on the way, but I believe that they will definitely get through it. The only other thing I wanted to mention on this slide is we did also see the collection starter set highlighted, which is going to be a new item coming with the launch of Set 9 Fabled. It's supposed to get people who are interested in collecting the game into it at the moment. And I kind of like, this is cool, but I also think that we've kind of had a product like this before. This is very similar to the like Stitch set from, I think it was from Azure at Sea, where you got like a binder, a Stitch promo card, and a couple of packs. I think it's nearly identical, but I guess they're trying to indicate this is I mean, yeah, you get the special card portfolio. It's a collection starter set, not really a gift set, and I guess a collector's guide, which whatever that's going to be, how to collect cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting.
I do wonder how big the collector scene is for Lorcana, because there are a lot of TCGs, but that's what I mean. Yeah, Pokemon, the main one, is like the lifespan of the game is that people just want to pack the cards. And I don't iconic Disney characters. I always thought this game must have a huge collector scene, but I don't know any data on it.
Yeah, I've no idea either. But speaking of collectors and stuff, on the next slide we're going to showcase, we will be mentioning some rarities, which is going to be super, super cool. All right, yeah, so we're going to talk about Fabled Set 9, the card that you can see on the screen right now, Maleficent Dragon. This is going to be one of the cards that's reprinted in Set 9, but the version on the right-hand side, this is also the Set Champs promo card that you will receive by participating in your local Set Champs. Unfortunately, I don't have the asset, which is like the shiny, top 4 enchanted version, or top 8 rather. But if you've watched the stream, you've seen that already. So I think this is kind of cool. I was a big fan of when they did the Rockstar Stitch, and I was hoping they'd do kind of a few more iconic characters, not only iconic characters, but kind of iconic cards in the Set Champs, because that, at least for me, I think would encourage me to try and play more Set Champs and get more cool alt art versions of cards that are very popular. I think some of the Set Champs promos in the past have been maybe a little hit or miss for me personally. Like the Mirabelle, I wasn't going to every store champs to try and collect all of those, but for some people, maybe they did. But yeah, what do you guys think about the idea of bringing back cards like Maleficent's Monstrous Dragon as a Set Champs promos? Allie, I'll start with you.
I just really like the card art for the participation promo. So yeah, I really like that, and I didn't join Lorcana until Set 5, so I don't have any copies of this card, I don't think.
Oh.
So the fact I can just get one by going to a Set Champs is really exciting for me. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's also like I said, yeah, it's like a very powerful card as well. Like this is a staple. It's a staple legendary from Set 1. Obviously, when it's going to be reprinted, it should be available a little bit more easily. But yeah, I love the point you make that this is a very powerful card, and hopefully this will be a cool way for people to get a very cool alt art version of the card. I'm going to move on to the next slide. These are some of the reprints that they talked about. The Tinkerbell Giant Fairy, Stitch Rockstar. Kim, what are your thoughts on them keeping these cards in the format specifically? Like, do you think these are examples of staples? I personally think Tinkerbell, definitely we've seen lots of play. Stitch is an interesting one, but I think that the Stitch decks have always been maybe fine. This might be an example of a card that has somewhat shined at times, but in the future, it could be very, very, very strong if certain cards are printed to support it more. So what do you think about it?
I think for most people as well, because Set 1 was like so many iconic characters, but that fact that it says Set 9 now, and it's peace of mind that people are like, they can still play with their favorite like cards, like their Tinkerbell and their enchanted Tinkerbells and their enchanted Rockstar Stitches, and bringing them back, where I don't think Stitch Rockstar really had its time to shine, but I think bringing it back kind of gives that like, not really, maybe like a sign that maybe like kind of what Harlan was talking about earlier with the Tiana, that maybe like bringing it back into a meta which doesn't have those, like, we don't know if we're going to get a Madame Medusa or stuff like that yet. Bringing it back into a meta that doesn't really have the targeted removal might actually be its time for it to shine, and like we'll see more of it in play.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like, we don't know if we're going to have Medusa. We don't know if we're going to have Zeus, right? Like, think about how impactful Zeus is at the moment. We don't know if we're going to get a reprint of Zeus or not. And that's a hard thing to think about, because like you mentioned, Harlan, like they want to keep staples, but then I do think they don't want to keep all of the staples either. Like, I think they have to really think about, okay, if we keep this staple, it makes sense, but if we might have to take this one out to allow other cards to shine. So yeah, what are your thoughts on them keeping these cards? Did these make sense to you?
Yeah, I think the Giant Tinkerbell, as she's like been nicknamed, makes sense. It's like, I mean, Sapphire Steel is like pretty much the only deck left where it was a staple, and even at the end, it was before the ban, it wasn't really around as much. But yeah, I think they're just always good cards to have around, and as the meta evolves, it's like, oh, at least I can always lean on the old faithful, which like Maleficent Big Dragon, or a Monstrous Dragon, I think it's called, Tinkerbell Giant Fairy, they're like the old, the old reliables of those colors. Maybe not Stitch Rockstar, but I think there's always that thing of like keeping more iconic cards around. I played in Set 1, and like that card was iconic, and it was played as well.
Mhm.
Quite a lot. So keeping that around and just in the meta, and like we played Store Champs on the Saturday, and it's like you look at like a kids deck and they've got like some of these cards in there and they're just loving it. So it's like sometimes the card might not be for me as a player who of course is trying to play the game at some sweaty competitive level, and this kid was doing very well as well. They were beating a Ruby Amethyst player quite easily. So like I think sometimes it's like looking at the cards of like it might not be for me as the competitive player, but like some people really love making these theme decks as well, and or like a very fun aggro deck or whatever. So yeah, just keeping these cards around just serves a good purpose, I think.
100%, yeah. On the next slide, we can see the Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard and that sweet enchanted version of it as well, which is really, really cool. I only noticed on this version of the card, by the way, that it has in the classification tags that it has honey, like HUNNY as a classification.
Oh, wow.
And Kim even said it to me. She was like, was this on the set 2 version? I haven't even checked. I will have to go back. I would very much assume it is.
Check.
I'm going on Dreamborn right now. I can't.
Yeah, I would very much assume it is, because if it wasn't, that would be kind of hilarious.
It's not on the set 2 version, no.
What?
Yeah, because I was
Dreamborn
like,
Hero Sorcerer.
up until
What?
recently, I has been spelling like Honey Wizard like the normal honey,
Mm,
and then like I saw it recently
that's
when it
H-
like came, yeah, and I realized it was never actually spelt like the normal honey.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like, oh my god, like this is such a small point that I haven't really thought about, but this suddenly opens up a lot of things that they're willing to put a tag onto a card. Obviously, they don't want to do this too often, but think about how many dog cards there are, how many cat cards there are, aristocrats. No, seriously, and like there could be archetypes really further down the line, and then if they're, it's hard to say, if they're willing to add a tag like this now, this seems more like a funny tag, funny honey, I suppose.
Funny
but,
honey.
yeah.
I'd say it is.
I
But I'd
imagine
still
this
ask for
is
goat.
this has to be a more of a jokey one, because you've got a honey based deck, a honey tribal deck that is all based around your honey cards.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, but I don't know, I think it would confuse people who have a set 2 version of the Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard, and be like, well, it doesn't say honey here, but it will be kind of like that errata Bucky thing, whereas like, well, it's errata, so you have to play the errata rules now.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah.
There's also, I guess, all of the... Yeah, this could just be more flavorful, because, like, Tigger has a classification for Tigger, but, like, you wouldn't need a classification because you can just say you can just say the card named Tigger, because they're all called Tigger anyways, So, yeah, it's probably more of a flavor thing, but it would maybe be interesting to see if they would revisit putting on, more stuff like cats and dogs. I think especially cats and dogs, because they're so iconic within so many Disney movies. Think of, like, Bolt, think of all of the Dalmatians that aren't just puppies, think of Pluto, and then the cats like Lucifer from Cinderella, all of the aristocrats, like it's interesting to think about. And okay, this is the rarities that we're going to be talking about on the next slide. So we have Elsa Snow Queen. This is a card that was from set 1, I believe, and this is going to be an example of an epic card. Epic cards are going to be easier to find than enchanted cards, but harder to find than legendary cards. And then the card beside it is Mickey Mouse Brave Little Prince. This is the example of an iconic card. And there's only going to be 2 iconic cards within set 9 Fabled. The other one is going to be the mini, which is in this kind of background art behind these cards. So yeah, as you just talked about there, Harlan, like the collector scene, I think this is really going to help the collector scene. Like, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not like a huge collector myself, but this gives people reasons to just buy way more packs and open way more packs. I think the pack opening experience at the moment is just pretty much, oh, did I kind of get a playable legendary, rare, super rare? That feels okay. Oh, I got an enchanted. That's really cool. And that's it. Like, I think so many other games have so many different versions of cards, alt arts, full arts, foils, special foils that... and that doesn't need to be for everybody, but I think for the collector scene, it's nice that they have these options. So I think this is a cool thing. For the epic cards, I don't know if they've stated the specific amount that's going to be there, but it's going to be cool to just open these cards in general. Allie, what are your thoughts on these? Is this going to make you buy more Lorcana product, do you think?
I already buy a lot, so I'm kind of scared. I don't know. I kind of felt like when I first saw the epic cards, I was like, to me, they don't look too different to like set 2 Enchanted.
Mhm.
But Harlan pointed out to me like it's the same. It's not a different art. It's kind of like the same art as the other card, but still with the fancy foiling. So I'm more excited about it than I originally was. But I really, really, really want the iconic cards, and especially for the Fabled set, like that art just kind of. If I feel like that set is for me, so I'm going to be probably spending a lot of money opening packs on this. Yes.
For sure. Yeah. Kim, do you think you're going to be opening? Again, we also buy a lot of product at the moment, so yeah.
I think you buy a lot of products at the moment. For me, I think the epic cards kind of like they kind of remind me more of like the D23 cards, like the art styling, where they're not really like the enchanted where they're full art. So I'm like not in love with them as much as I am, but like they're still pretty and they're beautiful. Because if they were all like different arts than the originals, maybe I'd love them more, but they're still pretty cool.
I think it's also hard to look at these cards and be like, oh, this is a flat 2D image. Like, we can't see the foiling effect. I guess if we hold one of these cards in person, it's going to look a lot different. It's like when people take a photo of, like, the golden Mickey and they're like, oh, this looks cool. And then you see a golden Mickey in person, you're like, oh my god, this looks 10 times better than I thought it would ever look. Yeah, Harlan, your thoughts on just these added rarities in general? Do you think they're going to help the, like, collector base?
It's something I've been saying for the game for a while, and, like, I'm not really a collector. Like, I tried to collect a few other games, but never really got into it. But just basically dumping a ton of random different rarities is always good for your game. Like, some games have done like rainbow cards where it's like the same card, but it's got like a rainbow coloring on. Like, even that. Because as you say, the pack experience, like we do League and we get like a few packs for performing in the League. And if you win it, you get like a 5 or so packs. And it's like, I'm just looking for some staples here, and then the rest goes in the bulk box. And I'm sorry to say, but like after the set's like been out for a few weeks, that's kind of where we get up to, which is a bit sad. But yeah, just throwing as many, like I played games where like one card's had about 16 different alternative arts to it, and that's like I think where we should be at, where it's just like one, like the crazy staples have tons of them, and also if you put up like the alt arts on staple cards, like players will go out. Like if you watch like Kendall or like DKP play, like they're playing with their enchanteds, and like imagine if you gave them a ton of options, like they would go all out on it. And like I play with like a few signed cards as well, you know, and by artists or like players that I like. I've got a Moyen Lucky Dime that's in the bulk box now. Do you know what was? Do you know what was? I know I can't. Do you know what was funny? It was I got one of the Lucky Dimes signed by the artist, and I went up to Moyen and said, "Oh, look, I got it signed. I wish I had the other one signed." And he said, "Why don't I sign it?" And I went and got a pen, and he did. No, I really treasure it. I really like it. He's a lovely guy. But yeah, it's just like everyone's. I even get to the point, like especially with Sapphire Steel, where I was foiling it out. Like majority of my like Sapphire, besides some of the legendaries, is all foil, because I just play it so much. So I'm like, I'm not buying any more packs or anything. So why don't I just keep upgrading this? And I started to trade as well. I made it a challenge to like trade with my locals to get like a lot of the foils for it, and that was fun. Like if I had loads more options and I get to choose which like alternative arts there are, that's awesome. And the one thing I noticed with this Mickey Mouse card is it is a Floodborn free cost 2/2, which I think that's why they've covered the text up, because I reckon that's a really good card.
Yep. I reckon it's pretty good too. Yeah, speaking about just more options, I think that's a big reason. Like myself and Kim came back from a trip in Japan recently, and this little binder I have here is just full of Japanese Lorcana cards, because I want to have different options of cards to play with, and I'm not too concerned about like hyper rarities personally, but like you said, there are definitely people that like absolutely bling out their deck. But it's cool to have some Japanese cards. I think I saw some Japanese cards in your deck, Allie, when we played we played a friendly at the UK Influencer Set Champs, right? So yeah, it's really cool to have the option to play with the different language cards as well. So yeah, more rarities in general is better. It's just better for everyone, right? It's better for the collector base. It's also better for the competitive players as well, because I think people often forget, because all 4 of us are competitive players, right? People often forget that anything that benefits the game overall benefits us. If they print more rare cards and that leads to more sales of more boxes and more product, that means they're going to invest more into organized play as well. You know, like I think a lot of people think, oh, they're not talking about competitive play specifically. They don't care about us. Any news that helps drive more sales and more engagement is good news. So I think people need to just think about that a little bit more. Because it all works together, right? The announcement of the Goofy movie coming to the game. Kim, I'll let you take this one because I know you're a big fan of everything Disney and all of the movies. Basically, before we started this podcast, Kim was like, right, myself and Allie get an opportunity to shame Kawa and Harlan for all their lack of Disney knowledge. So I'm not looking forward to how much you're going to shame us right now, but tell us about, I guess, the Goofy movie and why you're excited for this to come to the game.
Well, have you watched the Goofy movie?
No.
Okay, so there's 2 Goofy movies. There's actually a sequel, so I feel like if we're getting the first one, we'll get to the 2 Goofy movies. But like, I used to have this movie on like tape. That's how old it is. And because like they're bringing it out and it is its 30th anniversary this year, I'm just like, oh, like it's so nostalgic for like probably people and like collectors now getting into the movie. And there's probably a lot of collectors that only collect like the iconic characters like Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse kind of thing, where you always see like Mickey Mouse cards are worth a lot more. I feel like maybe Goofy's not, and maybe he's not like as good as cards, but I'm like, the Goofy movie's just so beautiful. So I'm like, I hope the cards are like beautiful as well. And the fact that it is a musical and there's like song cards, so they actually can make it like fully immersive like in Lorcana. It's so exciting.
Tell us about some of the characters in this, because I'm assuming Harlan, maybe you've watched it, but like we have
actually watched it.
Okay.
And it was one of the ones where I was like, I think, you know, because it's about like this dad who's like trying with his kids, and like the kid's goofy, and like it's really good. And I'll admit, like player wise, like JDZ loves this movie. He's told me to watch it like 1 billion times. And I don't know if you know Sky, the Sapphire Steel player. It's like, yeah, we'll just be playing really competitive, really talking about the meta, and he'll go, but you need to watch the Goofy movie. And it's just like, okay, I'll go watch it. And it's like, it's so weird that like some of these players, I think because these movies are so like beloved to them as well, they'll be like, oh yeah, but this is my like Disney movie. And like this film has been talked about so much that I think it was too hyped up when we watched it. Allie, I think people were talking too highly of it, and when we watched it, we're like, that was good. There were some good songs in there. I'm probably ruining my reputation by saying the Goofy movie was just good.
I didn't know there was a second one.
Oh yeah, there's a second one. I know what we're doing tonight, so you're watching this. But basically, Goofy has a son, and the son is Max, and Max is like, it's like the summer before he goes, like he goes off to college. But anyway, they take like a road trip, blah blah blah. We're gonna watch the movie after this. But
and who's the guy in the back? Is that like a superhero or something?
That's the like so it's Powerline. So he's the like famous like singer band that he like loves. We're not going to ruin it for the audience, for people who haven't seen it. They're going to go watch the Goofy movie. But I think the way that people reacted about Emperor's New Groove, and they were like, go watch Emperor's New Groove, there's like a whole audience of people who are like, a Goofy movie, go watch the Goofy movie. Like, it's that kind of like era. But like the fact that they're like bringing it out in like this year when it's the 30th anniversary, and they've like made a whole documentary on it. It seems like perfect, and it's a full like family movie. And I think the center point of Lorcana is that like you can play it with everyone, and it's for everyone. And like we're partners, like, and we play with each other, and it's like it's a family thing.
All right, yeah, we're gonna move on and talk about set 10 right now. So jumping into it, we have the set name, and we know that this is going to be coming in Q4 2025, which makes sense because it will be coming after Fabled. So I'm assuming this is going to be around kind of November, December, kind of Christmas time. And yeah, Whispers of the Well. We don't know too much about this, but we can see a new version of Ariel there. We can see kind of an explorer Mickey. Maybe that's still Detective Mickey. And then if you guys can spot it in like the background in the left.
Oh yeah.
Looks like a gargoyle. So I don't know who that could be, but Allie, do you know, like, are there any gargoyles in Disney stuff? Because I have no idea.
My brain just goes to Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, okay.
If you brought that in, I'm absolutely buzzing. I would love that. But other than that, I cannot think of anything. And I'm just now like trying to look at that piece of paper in the right, and like who Who is that on there? I have no idea.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be cropped for us. That just looks like a scar to me. I think that looks like one of the older scars.
Oh yeah. I think it is. You're right.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even realize. Yeah, Mickey's holding like the silhouette of the aerial he's looking at, right? So that's kind of cool. So yeah, this will be fun. Oh my god, now that you've mentioned there's characters on papers, there's like a Merlin up top. There's a Robin Hood. There's like a
Merlin at the top.
Oh, that could be like the beast above the logo, like in human form, maybe. I don't know. That's kind of cool.
Could that mean more reprints? I don't know.
It could mean. I mean, the Merlin on the Robin Hood are like what, set 1 and set 2 cards, I think. Yeah,
and you could have set 2 being reprinted.
I'm nearly sure that Scar is like the card from what I think, but that wouldn't really make sense. I think that's like a set 5 Scar from Shimmering. Skies.
I think
is it not the seven cost uninkable? I just bought it in Japanese.
No, it's not that Scar. It's not the set 2 Scar.
Damn.
No. Not the good one.
Yeah, not the good one.
I want them to reprint that.
All right, we're also going to move on to Reign of Jafar revealed, which we're going to have a lot to talk about here because there's lots of cards they've shown off. Okay, so starting things off, we're going to look at the Set Champs promo for Reign of Jafar. Of course, is Jafar himself. Jafar, High Sultan of Lorcana, 5-drop, uninkable, 4/4, quest for 3, with the ability, whenever this character quests, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. If an illusion character is discarded this way, you may play that character for free. I think this enchanted art is actually very, very, very cool. I like that they used Jafar since he's like the big theme of the set, similar how they did with Ursula's Return. But without any context, I mean, obviously we can imagine this is the Jafar set. There's going to be more illusions. Harlan, I want your first initial impressions on this card. What do you think?
Yeah, it's Amethyst Steel is this really strange thing where it's like the color combo is like this really, in competitive play, like this really consistent, strong deck. You know, it has all the steel removal. It has like loads of reach where you can play Goat and the White Roses. It's pretty good control. You can build it aggro. You can build it any dark mid range, any way you want. But then it also weirdly has like Jafar Wheel, and now this new like illusion based deck thing. So it's like it's really great that the game can have like this color combo with this set amount of cards, and there's like 3 vastly different decks. And I'm probably even forgetting some like more interesting Amethyst Steel decks that are out there. I don't know. Illusions, like I think we've only really seen Iago become quite powerful, and that is weird because that brought cards like Peter Pan, Shadowfinder back into the meta, and that combo together is like pretty great. But the illusions by themselves, I guess if you're playing it for free, it's not bad. It's a 5-cost uninkable. That's not good, I don't think. And if Zeus is still around, it's just like another thing that gets Zeused, which I really dislike saying and disregarding cards for those reasons. But this character has to quest, so it also has to survive a turn, and it can't be shifted on something like the Jafar Wheel card can. So it's a cool card,
I think we need to have illusions that are like as powerful as Iago or better. Like, and that would have to be a large portion of the deck. So my initial impressions of this card are also that it is not that powerful, unfortunately. It's easily removed. It has to survive to get the benefit. And when you quest and discard an illusion card, I mean, technically, if you do this, it is just like you're drawing a card and playing something for free. Like, that's big. But the card you're going to have to be playing for free has to be very, very, very strong. And I think this is an instant removal from the opponent as soon as it comes down. And again, like, it's not only Zeus, it's like you're playing against like an Amethyst deck, and they can, I don't know, like let's say they just already have a Fox or something else up. They have an Iago up, and then they just like Elsa to exert this, and then Iago hits into it. It feels kind of bad. So girls, what are your thoughts on this? Can you see some potential? Also, again, I will show off some more illusion cards in a minute, but for the moment it's not blowing us away, at least.
I think if there is more illusion cards, because obviously the last set we only seen Iago, I think if there's more illusion cards, it can definitely pop off. But like right now, it's just a really beautiful card. But definitely it has like the potential, because like already we've seen like it's 1 week gone of set champs, and we've already seen a lot of Amethyst Steel like in the rise, I think it can definitely take off if there has the right illusion cards.
Yeah, and I've been playing a lot of Amethyst Steel at the minute, and I just couldn't see this slotting in anywhere. But I know like Jafar as a character in general is like a really popular character, so I think it being the Set Champs promo will make a lot of people really excited because it's a different art and people love this guy for some reason, even though he's evil. So that'll make a lot of people really happy. I just don't think I'll personally play with it.
Yeah, Baker's gonna go crazy for this. He's gonna probably play in the most Set Champs he's ever played, I reckon, to try and get 100%. This. I do think there's actually a nice touch that the I don't know if all of like the promo cards for Set 8 are like this, but if you look at behind the text box, it looks like that's like a line art of Jafar's staff, right? Which I think is really, really cool.
Do you know why they've done the wording on Dark Power is red and then the lore is red?
I think it's just the theme of the set where it's kind of like the sandy color of the text box plus the red for Jafar. So that's my guess at least.
I'm pretty sure because they said it's on all the promo cards, and I think it's something about like because red. I would imagine, I didn't hear the full thing, but I would imagine that it's just because the reign of Jafar and everything is dark and powerful.
Sure, yeah, makes sense. Looking at the next cards, these are actually going to be some of the weekly play promos. So we have, well, actually, before we kind of just talk about these cards, let's talk about the fact that Jafar was another Duel Link card. We actually didn't know if we were going to keep getting Duel Links, if that was going to be something that was unique to set 7. So I'm glad we get to explore that a little bit more because I don't think there were too many amazing Duel Link cards, and I'm hoping that we get to see maybe some more playable ones over time. So taking a look at this Jafar, it's a 6-cost Inkable, 1/9 Quest for 1. That's a Sapphire Steel Duel Link, Dreamborn Hero Prince with the Bodyguard ability. And then it also has another ability. Whenever one of your ally characters quests, you may remove up to 2 damage from this character. So straight off the bat, God, this is the part of the podcast where all of our audience were like, oh, you say every card is bad. I don't think this card is great. Again, similar to reasons that Harlan mentioned, there's Sisu, there's Brawl, there's Human Sisu. All of these cards remove this very, very easily. I think maybe this will see some play in a sealed environment. I actually think the ally decks within sealed from the last set were pretty powerful. But yeah, this one doesn't blow me away immediately. And even the fact that it's 6 cost, I think most of the 5-cost Inkable Bodyguard cards have like decent impact. Like you even compared this to like Chen Po, who's like a 5-cost Inkable 4/7. Like basically the cards that your opponent are challenging into this, most of the time they get banished. This is a 1/9, just really, really doesn't blow me away. So maybe I'm missing something, but as the Sapphire Steel Master, Harlan, please give us your opinion.
Yeah, there was with the Duel Links, I did think if this is all we're getting for Duel Links in the last set, like, I don't want to be rude, but I don't think they've done an amazing job with it. So I was pretty convinced they were going to do more in the next set. And I think, 2 sets is great. I think we'll have a lot to play with. This card, I think everything you said is correct. Like, it's the same issue with Lady Cluck. Like, I was so interested in these cards because, of course, the style of Sapphire Steel that I played, the more aggro curve one, like all these cards, it felt like they'd written them for me. But the issue of Lady Cluck is I don't know what the correct terminology is, but like we usually say like the snapback, which is when a character runs into it, the damage that's dealt back to it. Of course, 2 from Lady Cluck is pretty bad. 1 is almost like, what's the point? And Chien Po being a 4/7, he will like wipe out pretty much, like he'll wipe out all the 2-drops. Like even a Lawrence is falling to that, like, which is the 4/4. I think if you had other cards that maybe said Aladdin or Heroes like strength is buffed, so you've got like Ling, but that would still only make it a 2/9. And then also I have to play Ling in my deck, and I don't know where I stand with that. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool. There's like a beast type card that's very similar, isn't it? There's like whenever you deal damage to your other characters, this beast will take it instead, isn't it? There's
from set 2, right? To 2/8, yeah.
Yeah, and I think in a sense, this one's kind of doing that. Like, this thing will be on the board and it will soak up all the damage whilst your other characters get to run away with it. I was kind of excited for all of the Duel Link, like, ally hero stuff. It felt like a really cool thing. And for me in Lorcana, like since like set 1 or 2, since like I ever had a weird like people started listening to me in the Lorcana community, I kind of always mention I really like tribal decks and I want a tribal. Like in set 2 when they did the first round of the dwarfs, I was on that. I was playing that like crazy. I thought, no, this will be meta. I'll make this meta. And then like a week later you realize that like just standard amber steel was better than this, and you're only playing it because you want to play tribal and play with dwarf characters. So like if they could do a hero ally deck, I'd be all over that. Like I would love that. But yeah, just that. Like, it doesn't need 9 health and 1 strength. They could have, split up either way. And 6, that's quite expensive. So, yeah, sadly, it might just be another promo card that you get tons of from playing at League.
For sure, yeah. The next card that we're going to take a look at is Lady Decisive Dog. This is a 1-cost inkable 0/3 Amber Emerald Duel Link. Quest for 1. With the ability, whenever you play a character, this character gets +1 strength this turn. And then another ability, while this character has 3 strength or more, she gets +2 lore. Now, this is a card that I think is pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I was never a massive fan of the 1-drop uninkable lady from the previous set, which was the main shift target for the 5-cost one with shift 3. This, on the other hand, I think could be quite strong. You just think of a general aggro strategy where they're playing multiple cards per turn. Oftentimes, this is at least questing for 2. Obviously, the downside is that this doesn't retain the strength until the start of the next turn. If that was the case, this card would be very good in my opinion. So like imagine you played like, I don't know, 2, 3, 1-drops, and then suddenly this is just like a 3/3, a 4/3 that stays at 3/3 or a 4/3, and your opponent has to challenge into it and banish it. That would be very, very strong. But I guess it gives it a bit of flexibility that, sure, you can buff this up with a lot of strength and then maybe take out an opposing character. But most of the time, yeah, you just want to quest with this. But I think I kind of think it's a more of a solid body than what the previous lady was. But Allie, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. I don't know if you've played around with the Lady and the Tramp deck much this set. I personally haven't, but how do you like this card so far?
I like it. We built a version of a Lady and the Tramp deck quite early on before like the Churner Dogs thing came popular, and we didn't love it, but I really like this card and I think it will get a lot of use, and I'm really, again, I just getting excited about card art. I really like that they've got Jock in the background because I was really hoping there'd be him on cards in the last set and there wasn't, so the fact that he's there now makes me really happy. Awesome.
Yeah. Kim, what do you think about the card?
Well, I think you can freely talk about Amber Emerald now because mine's not here, and it seems like it's becoming more of a viable deck. But I think going forward with the set rotation, that it's nice because you actually have some cards that you could play when you aren't gonna have set 1 to 4.
That's true. Yeah, I do think that Amber Emerald is transitioning away from my personal love of the discard package, and I guess going back to its roots, like Amber Emerald back in set 1 as an aggro deck was a very strong deck. It went super, super fast. And I think I like the new direction that it's going. I really need to give like the Churner Dogs deck a second look and maybe play test around with it a little bit more. But yeah, this card definitely impresses me, and I'll definitely give it a whirl once the new set comes out. Moving on to the next cards, we can see Patch the Playful Pup. This is also another weekly play promo. It's a 1-cost uninkable 0/2 Amber Sapphire dueling card, quest for 1 with Ward. While you have another puppy character in play, this character gets +1 lore. So, Kim, I have to ask you about this first because I know you're a big fan of Amber Sapphire. What do you think about it?
Puppy deck, first thought comes to mind. Because I think I originally played Amber Sapphire in set 1 when you took the other colours and Raven took other colours and I was left with Amber Sapphire. In set 1, like, it was like a bodyguard deck, and it was
actually
viable.
Okay. It was okay.
It was actually a good deck. Like, I did well in that tournament. But I think in Amber Sapphire, like, I want it to be there. It's just not there yet. But I think a puppy deck like coming up could actually be like, we don't know what other cards are coming out this set, but I'm excited to see if we get more puppies. Like, we got a lot of puppies last set, especially in the dual ink ones. If we can build a full puppy deck, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I
I have a
mean,
puppy deck, so I'm excited about this because I'm trying to foil it out, and the fact that this is like a weekly promo one, I'm like, yes, more foils for my puppy deck.
Definitely more of a fun deck. I'd love it to be more of a competitive deck and like to bring it to a set champs and for it to win. And maybe someday I will get there, but I think for now it's more of a funsy deck. But I would love to see it in more of a competitive
yeah.
like style.
I don't want to be the crusher of dreams here, but I don't think that's that's happening anytime soon. Like, as Harlan mentioned, I think it's very cool to have tribal decks, and the puppy deck, there's a lot of cool things you can do with it, but I don't think this is the one. I do think this card's interesting, though. Like, to have technically a 1-cost quest for 2 character with ward, like, that's pretty impressive, but as soon as it gets exerted, it just gets taken care of so easily, so, yeah.
But you quest for 2.
True.
Yeah, a lot of these
Yes, it's fine.
like the puppy cards they came out in the last set, and this card's not bad. Like, yeah, if it gets you your 2 lore for 1 ink, like, you know, you can probably take that. And then the last set they had Thunderbolt, which is like a
Bodyguard, right?
Bloodborne one. Yeah, and there's K9 Crunchy, and it was like, okay, yeah, this is not taking on a DLC. Like, this is not taking on the 2-game format. But it was like, okay, this got, in my opinion, it was very much the meme everyone joked about it to, okay, there's something here, you know. And if they were to keep, I think this is another great addition as well. Like Amber Sapphire sadly lacks many card draw, so I don't know how you would draw cards with that. But I would love it if I could be like, instead of doing Sapphire Steel content, I just did like puppy deck tribal YouTube channel. That would be so much fun.
It's funny you mentioned the Thunderbolt, because I actually think that was a pretty good card by itself. Yeah.
I tested with a friend, and like they'd put the K9 Crunchies down, which gives everything +1 strength. And I was like, well, I can't stop this shift happening. And then by turn 3, there's a 3/7 with body 3/8, sorry, because it is a 3/7. It doesn't get the K9 Crunchy buff. But it's like, how am I dealing with this? I'm a steel deck, and I don't have any. I was on Sapphire Steel. I was like, I can't deal with this, and you've won the game.
Yep.
You shouldn't be beating me with a puppy deck. But yeah, I think it got a lot better.
For sure. Looking at this Minnie Mouse, then this. I will double check, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the buy a box promo. Yes, this is the buy a box promo. So the new incentive that they've introduced, it was the Kron Glass set. This is the new buy a box promo. It's 4-cost, inkable, 0/8, quest for 1. It's an Amber Ruby Dual Link, Bodyguard, and also has this character gets +1 strength for each 1 damage on her. I mentioned to Kim when we both saw this card that this is funny because this is a mechanic from... It's technically... Okay, all TCGs share many mechanics, sure, but there's an exact keyword for this ability in the other card game we play, which is Star Wars Unlimited, and it's called Grit, and it literally reads, this character gets like +1 strength or power for each damage on it. So it's a cool ability, but I don't know. I think... It's a weird one. I actually think this is a really tricky one to evaluate, because if you play it immediately and it's a Ruby meta, it's a very, very bad card. But as soon as your opponent hits into it, it can get a lot of strength back. So most of the time, like, this is at least 2 cards that are hitting into this. Maybe 3, honestly. I mean, Maui can get through this pretty easily, but yeah, it's an interesting one. I think maybe there's more here than meets the eye initially, but I just don't think there's a way that you want to like play this and maybe self-damage it so that it's kind of strong. Maybe it just simply goes into like the general Amber Ruby Mufasa list. You pull this out and it's just a big body for your opponent to get through. But yeah, Harlan, would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, it's again like, now that we're going into rotation, like you see this with a lot of card games, like these cards might be good next set. I'm not putting any bets on this one. I won't lie, but yeah, right now you could just like brawl. Even like Emerald has kit. Like,
sure.
Imagine if you played this and they just kit bounce it back. But it's interesting. I think if you could get it to stick, and then like there is the Scar card that was the promo for the store champs not too long ago, like because that opponent wants to put a bit of damage somewhere, and you don't really ever have characters you want to put damage on for it. So you could maybe do something like that, but I'm not someone who's going to try and like build a Mufasa deck. And yeah, it's an alright card. It's probably deserved to be a promo for buying a box card.
Sure. Ali, what do you think?
I don't ever see myself playing Amber Ruby, and again, I'm just looking at the rabbits and how it looks like they brought Snow White characters onto, not characters, like Snow White art into Minnie Mouse, and that's pleasing me.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I think players like myself and Harlan and all the competitive people often overlook. We're like, oh, trash card, let's move on. But then you look at the art and it's like, okay, no, it is really, really pretty. So it's a shame, and like, I don't know, I think all of the artists do such a terrific job, and I'd hate to like come up to an artist and like, there's an artist signing and only go to the artist that like, oh my god, your card's a meta card, and then there's the person there with like the card that's never played and like, yeah, can you sign my promo? I'm never gonna use this. But like, I don't know, everyone honestly does such an amazing job at the art, and yeah, I guess thank you for highlighting that, Ali, because I feel like we don't do that enough when we talk about the cards.
I've had like, oh sorry.
My colleague, she plays a lot of Magic and has like a rabbit deck, so she's trying to collect all the Lorcana cards in foil that have rabbits on. So I'm just like, I need to buy a couple of boxes so that I can get one of these for me and give her one, because I know she'll love this.
Awesome. What are you saying there, Harlan?
Oh yeah, no, I do feel very silly being a kind of sweaty competitive player where someone will point out like something on a card like Hiram, like and they're like, oh, do you like this bit on the card? I'm like, I have never noticed that it's on that card. They'll point out a little detail. I was like, I have never looked at the card enough. I've just like, I don't even read the text at this point. You just what the card does and you just play it. And yeah, I'll admit we take all that for granted. But like for all this to be like unique Disney art, and I've played some card games where they just take like screenshots from whatever piece of media it is and reprint it. Like for them to do like, yeah, it's just awesome. And I really wish I did appreciate it more.
For sure. I'm going to move on to the next set of cards. And I think Kim will get very excited about this because we are finally getting Bambi into the game. Which honestly,
I love Bambi.
I don't know if I can publicly admit this, but it's going to come out. I don't think I've ever watched Bambi. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Right after the Goofy movie.
We're watching that after the Goofy movie. Yeah, because Bambi's also a musical, so it just makes sense.
What are some
I'm
of the...
still waiting for Home on the Range, but like we're getting Bambi, so the hope is there that I just want more animals. And it's because there's a song in Bambi called April Showers. I'm pretty sure it's called April Showers, but it goes like do 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 little April showers. I can just feel that being like a removal song. That is just like rinse everything. Goodbye.
The cutest little song. Destroy your opponent's board.
Just rinse it all. Because like the April showers bring all the flowers up in the movie, but like it's so good to see them bringing more. Because like we're on set 8 now, it's nice for them to bring in like some of the older Disney movies, and going forward, if they are like reprinting like from set 1 to 4, it's nice. Like the hope is that they'll still bring in the new movies. Like we're still waiting for Home on the Range.
Yeah, I don't know if that one's coming anytime soon. Honestly, I hope
we're gonna
it does,
visualize.
I've asked so many people, do you know this movie? And they're like, nah, I've never even heard of it. So, yeah.
But sometimes they go for like the less loved movies, like Raya and the Something Dragon.
We got the Black Cauldron, so
yeah, so maybe they will bring it.
Maybe, who knows? So yeah, looking at Bambi, this is standard vanilla card, but it's cool to have it within the game. 3/2s are fine and sealed most of the time. They stop to 2/3s. That's my only real comment there. Thumper, on the other hand, this is a 2-cost inkable Ruby 03, quest for 1. When you exert this character, chosen character gets +3 strength this turn. I don't know. Seems interesting. I think a 2-cost 03 is going to survive at least most of the time. Again, unless there's like human Sisu coming down and you're going second. But I can't think of anything immediately. I mean, maybe there's some cards that care about having a lot of strength, right? Like the Pete, I think, cares about having a lot of strength, like this Emerald Pete. But immediately nothing comes to mind about how this is gonna activate something in particular.
You have this like weird thing right now with the Illumineer being played on 2, and like it's like buffing the 1-drop and the 3-drop. Thumper could do a similar role. I think it would do it terribly, because you say you get one use out of it, and then it would probably just get removed, and it wouldn't even trade back. So if you run a Smee into this, the Smee still lives, and your 2-drop's gone. But yeah, I'll admit, when I watched your previous card reveals, I thought it amazing that you got like Moyen to review cards like this Bambi card, which, yeah, in like TCG terms, this is like bulk box filler, isn't it? Really? Like,
Yeah.
It's a 3/2 vanilla. Like, it's not a bad card. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just there to like, fill out the set and give you some cards for like sealed events and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I think my favorite thing about this card, obviously the art is very cute, but the flavor text is actually pretty cute on this as well. So
If you
What's what?
look at that art and it's like the sand swirling him, and then if you go back and look at Jafar's card, it's actually like if you read the flavors text, it makes sense because he's like facing up against Jafar. But if you go back and look at the Jafar art, he has like the sand, so it's like he's standing there like under Jafar, and you could like imagine the scene. I'm like, it's adorable because like I love how they all like interwine.
It's very, very cool. Looking at the next slide, Kim, if you can hold your excitement, please. It's the first one we have here is Flower. It's a 3-cost inkable amethyst card, 3/3 quest for 1. Whenever you play another character, look at the top card of your deck, put it on either the top or bottom of your deck. So this is basically a 3-cost 3/3 with the Ursula's Cauldron ability, I believe. And this one could be interesting. You're getting to manipulate the top card of your deck a lot more, which can definitely be synergistic for different types of decks. Like, it's funny to think, but in set 1, like, Ursula's Cauldron was played a lot. Like, it was heavily played in the Ruby Amethyst lists. And that was
the days where you had Ursula's Cauldron, you had Magic Mirror, you had
my God,
the White Rabbit's stopwatch. And you had this like Ruby Amethyst was the item deck.
Yep.
I missed that set one day.
Yeah, where everyone was exerting a Magic Mirror, paying 4 ink to draw a single card. Those were the days.
You'd pay 65 cards just to beat the mirror, because the mirror was whoever milled first.
Yep. And you'd play all the brooms for the recursion, right? So you wouldn't deck out. Yeah.
Oh, it was so funny in set 1. I love it.
Fun time. So this one's interesting. I think it helps a few of the Blurple strategies with like, there's like the Merlin that if like you name the top card of your deck, you can do something. There's that like Amber card within like the song deck. I think it's the Mulan that if you quest top card of your deck as a song, I think you play it for free. I could be misremembering that card.
Floodborn one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think Flower could have some potential, and we've definitely seen that 3/3s with 3/3s with decent effects are okay. I mean, namely 3/3s that do something on play are a lot better than 3/3s that have to survive. But for the most part, 3/3s are still pretty difficult to deal with, honestly. Usually 2/3s can get brawled, like Aerial and stuff, but 3/3s cannot be dealt with immediately, in my opinion, most of the time, unless you've got a board built up when they do like a strength. So this could have some potential for sure. What do you guys think about it? I'll pass it to Allie.
When I saw this on the like official stream earlier, they'd put it up with the Thumper card, and I was like busy talking to Harlan about like, oh yeah, I need to make sure we get that in foil for Shelley. And then I saw Flower, and I like jumped off the sofa in excitement and spilled my drink everywhere, but didn't stop to clean it up because I just wanted to get closer to the screen to look at it. I just think it's really pretty. Again, I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I'm probably going to put it in just because I think she's pretty.
Sure. Yeah. And yeah, we'll pass it over to the other one. Don't worry, Kim. I'm getting to you. You can contain your excitement. This is a 5-cost inkable Emerald Rapunzel card. It's a 2/5 quest for 2. It's evasive. Whenever this character quests, shows an opposing character can't quest during their next turn. It is a legendary. So I'm gonna let you have your moment, Kim, and then I'm gonna speak about my thoughts for this card. So let everybody know why you're so excited about this card, I guess.
I love Rapunzel. But I'm so happy to finally have like the proper art to like finish my cosplay, because I'm making this cosplay. But because like she's obviously on the box, and I've been working off the like box art picture the whole time. And I'm not gonna lie, seeing the card, like reading it properly now, I'm very sad, because I had convinced myself, because her dress is like amethyst, and the paint in her pouch. Like, guys, I've been working off of a really pixelated image, and I'm like sewing the green into the pouch at the minute, and I've like convinced myself, and her gloves have the green on it, and I've like convinced myself it was a dual ink card. That I like had myself convinced that it was an amethyst emerald. That I'm like, okay, she's an evasive card. Evasive cards are good. She'll be great in sealed, but she has to like stay there on the board, and you can just brawl her, I suppose. But she'll be good in sealed, I think. But I'm just more disappointed that she's not dual ink, because I had myself convinced because of her dress and the green that she was going to be dual ink.
Yeah, I think you kind of spoke about it there, though, that unfortunately, this to me seems like a worse John Silver, because John Silver has a very similar effect, but I just don't see this card sticking too much. Like, you even compare this to Genie, where it's very similar stats. Genie gets to draw a card. Like, this, when it quests, chosen opposing character can't question in the next turn. I really don't see this being a very powerful legendary, unfortunately. And I don't mean to say that because I wish the card was really, really good, but Harlan, maybe you see something I'm missing, but I don't think this is going to be played very often.
Yeah, it looks very lovely. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, and like the hair's going over the card, that's cool. But yeah, I think if it was on play on quest, like, yeah, if it was doing John Silver level stuff, and again, like, I think the way I keep looking at all these set 8 cards is like, it might just be prepping you for the rotation in set 9, because John Silver will go, and if you want to do a similar effect to that, you'd have to use Rapunzel. And like, yeah, sometimes they might do things in games where they've looked at John Silver and went, we didn't really like that card too much, but we didn't mind it, so we're print something that's similar. I think, yeah, if Sisu goes as well, it could be cool. If you could just make this full green deck where it's just like being really like trying to stop your opponent from doing anything whilst you get to, because she's got evasion as well, and then you quest out for game. But I don't know. I think I saw Artifacts see it and not particularly love it, which was always like the master of green in my opinion. Sure,
yeah, that makes sense. Next card that we have, we get to see an Enchanted from set 8, which this art is truly, truly stunning. They're also spoiling you, Harlan. They're revealing all of the Sapphire Steel dual links immediately, which maybe is a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. If they're not too good, you're like, oh, we're doomed already for set 8. But
I mean, yeah, it's telling me to swap decks. You know, it's getting me prepared for it.
Yeah. Do you mind reading this one out for the viewers, Harlan?
Yes, this is Jasmine, Steady Strategist, Floodborn Hero Princess, 2/5, 4 cost, Inkable, 1 lore. Always planning. Whenever this character quests, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal an ally character card and put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. I don't mind that. Is also Floodborn Shift 2. I don't mind that one.
Sure.
I don't know why they have this obsession to print everything of 2 strength right now. It seems like everything we've seen. I think even the Aladdin, yeah, it was 1 strength. Oh, it was even worse.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because yeah, just nothing trades very well. But I kind of like the idea of like this whole hero ally deck, and like maybe when you're building it, you have to balance out how many heroes and how many allies you're going to put in there, and like it might be very fun to build. But I just don't know why there isn't a 3/5.
If this was a 3/5, it's so much better, I think, right? Yeah.
It's just that, so utility-wise, it's fine. I think the cost is fine. Maybe it could, it does something, so it doesn't. I think the cost is fine. But the fact that once it's turned sideways, like, it's not going to be hard for someone to remove that. Like, that's what always puts me down on it. But I kind of like the ability.
For sure, yeah. And Allie Kim as the I look at this Enchanted art, and it is like truly, truly stunning. The Raja, like the blue Raja, is so cool.
Yeah, I really like the Enchanted version, and my like first ever deck that I built was a Sapphire Steel Heroes deck. So I'm just like, she's a hero. Can I bring this back in some way? Probably not, but I'm gonna try.
For sure, yeah. Kim, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Enchanted is stunning, but I think the card as a whole kind of just makes me like think that they're just getting us ready for the next set when set rotation comes in, because I don't think we ever see much competitive play at the minute when there's Sisu and there's Brawl, and I'm just like, oh, as much as I want an ally deck to work and I want a hero deck to work, because I've always wanted to play a Sapphire hero deck or a Sapphire Allie deck, and my hope is that next set it might work, because by Sisu, by Brawl, but time will tell.
Yeah, it is a good point, but unfortunately we do have to look at the cards as well in the vacuum right now that is the current set. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I know we haven't seen all the enchanteds, but this already could be my favorite enchanted of the set. It's truly gorgeous. They're like sand, like what are they? They're not scarabs, right? They're like, I don't know. Maybe they are
like
scarabs.
little moths
Yeah,
or something.
I think they are.
I love.
Yeah,
Like the scarab beetles.
Yeah.
Very cool. So yeah, more enchanteds like this, please. The art is stunning. Look at the next cards. One is the Jafar High Sultan Lorcana that we saw already. This is just the normal version of the card with the box art, which is pretty cool. And now we start to see some more illusion cards. So this is Palace Guard, 1 cost equal 1/4, quest for 1 vanish. This card doesn't blow me away immediately. But like, I don't know. I really can't think of like much to say about this. Like, I guess if Belle was still as prominently around as she was, this survives Belle hitting into it, which is maybe something. But I don't know. I think this character can do something if another card comes along that reads, if you have another illusion character on the board, then maybe this card is okay because it's so cheap to play another illusion character. If there's not a card with that effect, I can't see this seeing much play. Like for 1 extra willpower, this gets the vanish keyword. Like I don't know. Harlan, what are your initial thoughts? It just seems not great.
The look at it is like, if you made that a 2-quester and treated it like a sort of Daisy Duck situation, where it's like, you know, the way that Amber Steel plays it, they play their whole new world, then they usually have enough ink to play like a couple daisies if they find them. It's like, imagine if you did that with this card. That would be kind of cool. And instead of having the look at the top card effect, it's got vanish, and that would have worked. I fundamentally see no reason why you would play this. Like, because the reason why you play the 3 and 4 health strength ones is that it doesn't get removed from like the Storm Rage on or Fire the Cannons, whereas this card does. So it's just like, I don't understand it. But yeah, I don't know. There may be other cards that bring it all together. Like maybe there's like Palace Guard Captain or something, and it gives them all a buff. Or, you
maybe.
know, you never know when. And it's why I tend to not like do the big like reviews of cards until you see the whole thing, because you might be like, oh, this one works with this. But yeah, in the space that we can see right now, I don't know why you wouldn't just play Olaf as a 1/3.
Yep. Yeah. Does anyone else have any thoughts on this? Because again, the art is very cool. Is that like I have no idea what that creature behind the Palace Guard is. It's like a giant.
I think it's like a giant the beetle or something. I think when I originally saw this card, because it's like a Palace Guard, and it's kind of like, I would have loved to see if it had like kind of a similar thing to Microbots or the Puppy, where you could have like a certain amount of number. I think it would have just made more sense for like the whole vanish like illusion thing of the Jafar. Like, I think it would have matched in.
Maybe
but like we also don't know what other that you could play more than 4, like, because the Palace Guards like in Aladdin, like, and there's so many of them, it would have made sense to me. But we still don't know what other cards are coming. Like, if, like what Harlan said, if there's like the Palace Guard Captain, because we know from like Aladdin that there is Palace Guard Captains, that it would make sense that they would give them a buff, and then it would be more of a, probably the card would probably see a lot more play.
I think, unfortunately, if my eyes don't deceive me, this is the Palace Guard. This is like the Palace Guard captain from the movie.
Yeah.
There's Razul, who's a 2-cost in the game right now, and he looks like Razul, though.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he does look like the same character. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think if there was another card that buffed all of your illusion cards to give it +1 lore, then suddenly this card is actually something potentially. But yeah. The next card that we have it's another illusion. It's a 3-cost inkable 2/4 quest for 2 magic carpet within steel with vanish. Your other illusion characters gain challenger +1. It is a buff to your other illusion characters,
makes sense.
but maybe not the buff we're particularly looking for. A 3-cost inkable 2/4 that quest for 2 though, on the other hand, that's some pretty good stats. So that alone maybe could be okay. Like this really isn't the worst card. Giving your illusions challenger, I'm not too sure about. I think if this gave them extra lore, this would be a much better card, but doesn't blow me away immediately.
I think that's like the best way they could have wrote the illusion cards, is just like insanely statted things. So it's like, oh, I have to put some removal into it. So like Iego is, I guess, the best example, and also the Cobra, just because it's a 4/4 and a 4/6, so it's like, yeah, I have to throw some removal into that, and this looks the similar case. I guess the Palace Guard is also the same, but he only quests for 1. But yeah, this card seems fine. I could see people week 1 wanting to try it out.
For sure, yeah. Next cards we're going to take a look at. This is one of my favorite scenes of all time in Emperor's New Groove. Pull the lever, Kronk. It's very, very iconic. And this one is actually going to be the pre-release promo. So you'll be getting this when you go to your local game store for your pre-release event. This is an Amethyst Emerald Dueling card, 3-cost inkable action. It says choose 1, draw 2 cards, or each opponent chooses and discards a card. The flexibility is good. I think honestly, like 3-cost inkable draw 2 is very much a staple in multiple different card games that I've played, not just Lorcana. Obviously, you compare this to Friends on the other side. It's a little bit weaker, but like Friends, similar to what you said, Harlan, I think they printed some like insanely powerful songs within set 1. And you compare any card to Friends and it looks weak. But like, yes, Friends is a better card than this. I think why I'm not a massive fan of this is because even just Hypnotize I feel like Hypnotize is just a better card than this, because it does the discard and it also draws a card. And even though this gives you the flexibility, I'd probably just play Improvise over this every time, I think. Not Improvise, Hypnotize, right? Hypnotize, yes.
Hypnotize.
Yep. What are your thoughts?
I don't think. It's fine. Yeah, it's it goes really in that bracket, but it's fine. Like in card games, if a card says draw cards, you can never say. I think you can never say it's bad. Or like, no, you probably can, but for 3 ink you get 2 cards. It's pretty much what Friends does, but you have to hard cast it. And then or you have the flexibility to make your opponent discard a card. I think I'd still just play Friends on the other side. I guess,
again, we keep trying to think about this, but I think it's interesting to think about. In a meta with no Friends, no Hypnotize, this card's probably a lot better, right? It genuinely is. Yeah, this card's quite good in that meta.
And I think you need like I always call them Pot of Greed cards, which is like the Yu-Gi-Oh card Pot of Greed, which just says draw 2 cards.
Yep.
And like an Amethyst, that's their thing. They draw cards, so it's fine. Yeah, maybe post rotation. This is like what people will play if Friends doesn't. I imagine Friends on the other side gets a reprint. I'm not going to bet money on it, but that feels so staple like card to me. That has to. But if not, we play Pull the Lever, Kronk.
Yeah. That feels like a fun game. Closer to set 9 reveals, we should all like start putting in like bingo cards of what's going to stay. But maybe what's going to stay rather than what's going to go, because what's going to go should be easier than what's going to stay.
I'm pretty sure I bet money. The one I bet money on is Whole New World staying, because if they're releasing that as a Worlds promo, I don't see them releasing it as a promo and then going, also it's not playable anymore.
Oh, I might take you up on that bet, because I think even though they're releasing as a promo, I think they're not afraid to get rid of, like, I don't know. I think it's interesting. Yes, they're staple cards, but I think they're not afraid to try and like take some really impactful cards away. So I might hold you to that, Harlan. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
Bet a trove on it.
Bet a trove. Okay, I'll take that bet. Yeah. The next card is Pluto. This is an Amber Steel Dueling card. 6-cost inkable 2/7. Quest for 2. While this character has no damage, he gets +2 strength and gains support. Okay. So this comes into play as a 4/7 quest for 2 support, that's pretty interesting. Stats wise, it's okay. It's as long as it has no damage, it is out of range of like the Medusas and stuff like that. I think stats wise, that's just a 6-cost 4/7. If we kind of ignore the lore, is not great. We saw, I think it's King Stefan from the last set, which is an Amber 5-cost inkable 4/7, albeit that just quests for 1. Maybe this card is interesting. I don't know how much play it will see in particular. It's also Amber Steel, so you kind of think of Amber Steel's top end. Amber Steel doesn't tend to have that much top end particularly, but maybe in a more diggy hole style deck where you're not really playing the song package, this could be quite interesting. It seems to be in a similar realm of the Duel Link Penny, where I felt like that could fit into a diggy hole deck as well. And the other thing to mention is this is going to be what's referred to as the seasonal promo for set 8. So if you go to, I don't know, conventions and stuff, I think this set it was the Anna, the Blurple Anna was the one.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like the seasonal promo card, but
is that what they're called? I never knew that.
Yeah, I think it's seasonal convention promo
there's
card.
There's been a Christoph and there's been like an Aladdin, hasn't there?
Oh,
we've
the Flotsams and Jetsams.
check our binder for about three pages of those. Yeah. But yeah, I think this is maybe one of the better Duel Links that we've seen, but it worries me a little bit that this is some top end in Amber Steel, and maybe traditionally they don't play too much top end. But what are your initial thoughts, Harlan?
No, and I think with support, it's like, so if you're playing Amber Steel, it's probably thinking that you're going to be singing a lot of your removal.
Mm-hmm.
So like giving support, I guess, unless you played like Calhoun or Robin Hood, which could be good, yeah, but I don't know. It feels kind of like akin to the 4-cost Pluto that I play in Kiwi.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has strength and then it takes damage and it loses some of its strength. I think if you change support to Bodyguard, and maybe brought it back 1 ink to 5.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you change the card completely, what I'm saying is it'd be a better card. But yeah, I don't think it's bad. I think you could play it on 6. I don't know why you wouldn't put like something a bit more board equalizy like Tinkerbell or something like that instead. But yeah, I don't think it's bad. I think people will try that out for sure.
Sure.
It'd be good for locations actually, which, you know, you get your lore in and then you also buff something in, like you buff a Smee or whatever, and you can deal 7 to take out a Queen's Castle or whatever helpful location you need. So, yeah.
That's true, yeah. Seems okay. And the last slide that we have here is the Palace Heist, Illumineer's Quest Palace Heist within set 8. I had a lot of fun playing around with the Ursula one in set 4, and this one seems to be improved in nearly every way. The actual box is a storage box now, which is much better than the Ursula one where you just had to open it up. It was a piece of paper, you just threw it away. You get the 2, I believe, 60 card decks, and you get the Jafar deck. It's the playmat is actually like a kind of cardboardy playmat rather than just a paper playmat, which is really, really good. And you get all the counters and stuff with it. So this was honestly, I think the Ursula PvE type of thing was quite fun, and I could see myself picking this up for sure. I can also spy, there's no way I'm going to be able to read the text, but I can see like it looks like a legendary Amber Goofy. It's a 4-cost there, and I can also see a 4-cost Inkable Pinocchio. That's a 0/4 quest for 2. No idea what the abilities on those cards are, but yeah, this should be a fun product. Did you guys, Allie, Harlan, did you guys mess around with the Ursula's Illumineer's Quest at all?
No.
Really?
No, I joined Lorcana too late, really. Before, and then since I've just not been too bothered about it. But when this comes out, I have told Harlan that I would want to do it for a YouTube video. So he has to play this one. He doesn't get a choice.
Yeah, we have Villainous as well, don't we? So we actually have and we played the Stardew Valley board game.
Mm-hmm.
So we have our board game night. I'd like to try one of these, and then of course, Allie likes to collect quite a lot of the cards, so you get some promos in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how good they realize that marketing is, but it's really good. You know, just get a couple of promo cards, and then like that Piglet that you got on the last one.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you get a good game with it as well. I did like the presentation. I do like playing quite a lot of board games.
For sure, yeah. I'm pretty excited about this one because it's been a while since I've taken a look at the Ursula's one. The last time I did it, last time I played the Ursula's one was I actually played as Ursula against two people who were giving this a shot for the first time. It was at a Ravensburger like retailer day, and I think I spent about like an hour, maybe an hour and a half playing as Ursula against these two players who they eventually took me down. It was a very, very close game, but it was just fun. It was actually fun to be on the opposite side and be the one like flipping the really powerful cards, and then both players being like, oh my god, she's just like wiped my whole board. So yeah.
I heard it was really quite hard to beat like the higher level Ursula. Like it wasn't an easy, like you had to go away, study, and like build a deck for it.
For
like,
sure. Yeah. I think the most fun I've had with these Illuminator's quests is like just playing meta decks into it and just getting absolutely wiped because Ursula, you could maybe beat the easy one, maybe the normal one, but then as soon as you get up to like the top two hardest difficulties, it was a challenge. But it's a lot of fun. If you just brought
like a Ruby Amethyst like stock control bounce list, would you just get wiped by it?
Yeah, most of the time, honestly. And I think B Prep was, again, I haven't played the mode that much. B Prep is probably pretty good against it because you get to wipe the whole board. But there was like my favorite thing about this was that all of your cards could be together. I believe, if I remember the rules correctly, where like if my card had support, I could like support one of my partner's cards, and then that would help them out. Because your lore is cumulative in this game, so you need to get to 40 lore to win. So very, very, very fun. I'm excited to mess around with it. Hopefully we actually get a chance to play this at the UK Games Expo at the end of this month, when the pre-release for Reign of Jafar is going to be out. So yeah, that's all of the general news that we heard from the reveal stream, talking about all of these announcements. And obviously the main ones that we are going to take away from this and focus on for the next two sets is going to be rotation. Thinking about rotation, all of the cards that we are probably going to lose, thinking about this meta that's going to exist of sets 5 to 9. It is a little bit scary, but honestly, it's quite exciting. And I think if the new season of DLCs starts around, at least around when rotation is going to happen, it will be really, really exciting because there's going to be lots of very, very different decks, very new decks that people are going to be building. Suddenly, if certain cards, like you guys have mentioned, like the Sisu, a lot of the like Ruby removal is gone. Maybe Zeus is gone. It could change decks up completely. And what's particularly interesting, in my opinion, is because at that stage, we're going to have the smallest card pool we've ever had, which in theory means we're probably going to have the least powerful cards we've ever had. The cards can be power crept a little bit, but a lot of the good cards, besides some staples that are moved over, are going to be gone. So I'm kind of excited to play this different version of Lorcana, and I'd be particularly excited to see if it's more board-based combat that you often feel maybe when you play Sealed. Like Sealed to me can be quite fun, where you've got like this kind of showdown of like, I've got like 5 characters on the board and my opponent's got 5 characters on the board, and I need to optimally think, if I quest with everything and then they start making trades, can I make trades back and then also still have a board advantage? So I really like those situations in Lorcana, and I think maybe we don't see enough of them. I could be the minority. I think maybe a lot of people love the controlling decks, the removal decks. But yeah, what are your guys' like final overall thoughts on rotation happening, and would you be excited to see like the next set of DLCs introduced around this time? I'd like to start with you, Allie.
I guess I'm looking forward to it, seeing what's staying and what's going. Again, I am still anxious because I'm just an anxious person. So not knowing what's going to happen is a bit scary to me. But I'm sure that once people have like figured it out and stuff, and I can just net deck something, then I'll be happy. Sure.
You know what's funny is like I think it's great to hear you say that, because I think a lot of people have asked us this in the podcast as well about like, you know, building decks and how much time do I put into experimenting with the deck before maybe I give up or whatever. And I don't think there's any shame to say that I wait, because I do this. I wait for good players, very good players, to build decks. And I think Brendan says this as well. we are what is referred to as deck tweakers. So we look at really, really good lists, and I love to like put my own twist on it and really understand what's going on here, and maybe trying to sprinkle a few different cards here and there, because I maybe personally don't have the time to experiment with as many decks and as many combos as I want. And sure, sometimes you could experiment a lot and maybe feel like, oh, it hasn't really gone my way. Some people get like real enjoyment out of that. But for me personally, yeah, I think I'm very similar to you, Allie, where I'll look at some really good performing decks and really take the time to understand them and tweak them. And then that's kind of how I get my enjoyment, at least out of the competitive side of things. So I think sometimes I think sometimes there's this perception of people think that really good competitive players are just super good at deck building, where a lot of them are, but there's like, I think there's definitely still skill that comes with deck tweaking and realizing, okay, somebody's built this shell, let me see if I can improve it in small different ways. Sorry for interrupting you there, by the way.
No, yeah, I agree, and I just know that I personally don't have the brain to deck build. Like, some of the things these people build, I'm just like, my brain can't do that. So I'll take their list and I'm like, I think this card is pretty. I'm gonna add a one off of this in it.
Yep.
And that's just how I like to do it.
Yeah. Kim, what are your thoughts on all of this stuff coming? I know like the biggest thing for us at least is I just miss going to DLCs and traveling and seeing everybody, seeing all my friends. Like, it's so fun when we get to see you guys at the UK Influencer Set Champs. Like, I think we are very, very, very lucky as content creators to have that event and to be able to attend that each set and just see everybody and have a good time. Obviously, like, we're competitive players, we want to try and do our best, but the best part of those events is always just seeing everybody hanging out. So yeah, I assume that's something that you're looking forward to, Kim, right, when the DLCs come back.
Absolutely. And I think I'm kind of, not that I'm like scared, but I'm more like excited for like the change, because I think the last couple metas, especially in the last couple DLCs, like, I don't know if you felt it, but like it was definitely like not really like rock paper scissors, but like triangular. But like, I'm excited to see the change in the meta and what different decks will come out. If we don't have set 1 to 4, there's going to be a lot of different like takes and tweaks, and like, I think what we need to do now is go play Chaos Draft with just set 4 to 8 just for funsies.
Set 5.
But I'm also set 5, 4 to whatever. But I'm also really happy that they are doing the infinity
constructed, right?
Yeah, infinity constructed, that we can still play with all the cards. I'm still sad and really depressed deep down inside that Hiram's gone and still not allowed to be played in infinity events. But like, the hope is there. He might come back. They might reprint him and he can draw 1 card instead. It's okay. But yeah, I'm excited for that part. Like, I think it also means that side events, I think for DLCs, like, I felt it, the side events, they weren't great. So I hope at least with this, they'll have more formats. I'd like to see more multiplayer as well. And that I hope for the like next set of DLCs, it will be more like fun, entertaining, encouraging, because we'll have new sets, different cards, old cards, but it'll be like new versions of cards along with new cards.
Sure, yeah. I think you make a good point though about the side events that they've been. I think Lille had very interesting side events where there was like 2v2 and team formats, and ever since it's been a little bit lacking. I think as the DLCs have gone on, I've been less inclined to actually participate in side events. At the start, it's always more fun as well because you want to get some extra tickets and get some of the promos. But there comes a point where I definitely want some interesting formats. So yeah, in that case, I might bring an Infinity constructed deck or two to mess around with. I think that will be fun at the start, but I honestly think maybe the deeper we go and the more rotations that happen, like they're not. I'd be surprised if they have a separate like ban list for it. Maybe they will. But their core like focus, in my opinion, shouldn't be on that format. Maybe they want to just make sure it's still at least somewhat fun. But that the idea of that format is it's supposed to be chaotic and there's supposed to be crazy things that happen in it. So I'd be interested to see if they do kind of have a different ban list. But I agree. I think team formats are fun, and I hope they do some more stuff like that. Harlan, what are your thoughts? You know, DLCs, set rotation. I say you're the same, right? It's just being able to compete at something again that's not just store champs, or maybe us getting something that's a level between store champs and DLCs, right?
Yeah. I mean, when we went to the Ravensburg event, me and Allie did, and yeah, we get to see like the friendly faces we always see and say hello to. Like, I always love seeing Bennett. It's always
Bennett's
like
so
the
nice.
biggest,
Yeah.
it's just the biggest joy to see
Yep.
sorry, to see Bennett at places, and like not just Bennett, but like everyone we see there, and like people are like, I'm so like grateful when people say I watch YouTube, or like a few people said I brought your list, like someone brought the exact same 60 as me, and we both got top 64 in day 2,
Hell yeah.
and it was just like, oh, that's just awesome feeling. So that was about 500 or so people, I think maybe a little less. So that was like a quarter. That was just like a taste of what we used to have. So yeah, I really want to have that back. And just mentioning about like infinity formats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always I know Hearthstone had its thing. Pokemon had its thing as well, and they get very hard. They get weird to police, don't they?
Yep.
After a while, because when you create a new card, you aren't thinking about a card that was released 5 or so years ago, and then you release it, and there's some like crazy combo, and then they have to start banning, and they will probably have to make a ban list for it. And I just don't get that interested in it, because I don't think it's how they designed the game to be. They just made this format. If you want to play your old cards and enjoy those, welcome to play your set 2 Ruby Amethyst deck with one new card from set 50 or something and like have fun with it. Like that's awesome that you can do that, and like I'm not going to take that fun away from you. If you want to do that, you can enjoy that. So that's really good. And like rotations, I'm really excited about it. And it was interesting you said about deck building. I'm terrible at deck building. I don't think I really have. I don't make any decks fresh. I have a testing group. I'm wearing we have a little logo and everything, and a little server, and like just I think one of the best like bits of advice for like getting better at competitive TCGs is like surround yourself with people who are good, and just like push yourself and watch their content as well and stuff like that. That isn't a plug for me. That's a plug for players like Ed and Sailor and stuff like that, because yeah, they just push yourself, and you think differently, and you look at the game differently. And yeah, I'm always, I didn't know it was called a deck tweaker. But yeah, I always like to take a list and then like play it for a bit, and then of course with games like you might play your deck, and in that region like Ruby Sapphire is really popular, but in your local store like Steel Song's really popular, so you start tweaking it for that, don't you? And you make it fit the meta, you make it fit what's current. So I do that as well a lot. And yeah, the meta is going to evolve very, very healthy. I think this is all a lovely, great thing. I know it's scary and new. We have seen like different metas. Like before the ban, we were in this like heavy control ramp up, and then like nothing even survives on the board if you play it anyway. And then for a while we had like these dock build metas, and like yeah, in TCGs you just have like, oh, right now it's an aggro meta, and right now it's a control meta, and right now it's a mid-range meta, and they kind of push that with their game design, or like good game design is that you create things like that. So I'm just all excited for it, and I'm hoping Sapphire Steel, just like as a color combo, can survive. I don't mind what form it's in. I've played ramp, I've played aggro. And like for yourself, if you played green yellow, like set 1, we called it lemon and lime back in the day, and it was aggro.
Yep.
And I remember that you played the 1-drops, and then you played the Cusco and the Mad Hatter. Someone at the Store Champs played the Mad Hatter against me, and I was like, nostalgia, flashback. I love that card. Yeah, but then it became like this hyper control discard deck because it got given the cards for that, and now it's back to being. It has a version again where it's like, that's great if throughout all these rotations I can just pick 2 color combos, buy the cards in those color combos, and compete, which I have been able to do with Sapphire Steel so far. Like we won the Content Creator Store Champs again, and we like day 2'd in Germany, and this is a very different approach to Sapphire Steel than I would have done 2 or 3 sets ago. So that's great. I think that's been a very big selling point for me with Lorcana and a lot of people. Like you could just buy Ruby Amethyst cards. You buy your packs, you buy whatever you want, but when you want to like source your cards and trade, you only keep Ruby Amethyst cards. If they can keep doing that, that'd be awesome. I think so. Yeah, hopefully it's all good, I think, and they rotate out some busted cards like Let the Storm Rage on.
Yeah. I think all the points that you made there are very, very true. I think it's really cool to get to a stage of Lorcana where we are at, where there are multiple different viable competitive decks within certain in combos. Like you mentioned, Ruby Sapphire has different versions, Amber Steel has different versions, Blue Steel has different versions. So I think it's a sign of a very healthy game when you can have that, honestly. And it's not just restricted to one strict version. Like, there's definitely a time of the game, especially in early Lorcana, where as soon as you saw like the two cards from two different colors, you're like, oh, I'm against like this at least 50 pool of 50 cards, and I already know what the deck is. So it's nice when you have to maybe wait a little bit and say, okay, maybe it's actually this deck that I'm playing against. So yeah, I'm looking forward to all of it. I think for the most part, I do want to just say to the audience, like, if you're a bit scared about rotation, in my opinion, I really don't think it's going to be as bad as you may think it's going to be. It's exciting, it's fresh, it's going to be a very different version of Lorcana. I think a lot of cards are going to shine that previously haven't, and I'm just looking forward to the future. I come from mainly playing Hearthstone, which was my first digital card game, and I entered the game when I think the first rotation cycle happened, and actually kind of exactly what you said, Kim. Like, I entered the game where originally I looked at the game before I came in when this rotation was happening. I was like, oh my god, I have so many staple cards to catch up on. And then as soon as the thing dropped, I was like, oh, I actually only have to really get in Hearthstone. They have this system where they have like a core set, where they'll basically have a set one that lasts forever, but cards will kind of come in and out of that. And also, when it's a digital card game, it's just a lot more accessible than a physical card game when you have to actually source the cards. But I really liked that system. I think it's worked quite well, not only in that game, but in multiple games, as Harlan's mentioned, in Magic and Pokemon. So I think it's going to be a good thing, and I look forward to the future. So yeah, before we finish up, I just want to say thank you to all of you for joining the podcast. A special one, episode 100. I hope to see you guys, in the future at the future events and stuff like that. And I want to give you all the opportunity to say some final words and let us all know where we can find you and what you're up to. I want to actually give a specific shout out to Allie. Your vlogs have been very, very fun to watch. So if you guys want a perspective of what it's like to travel to, all of these events, DLCs, big competitive events, definitely check Allie's channel out. I'm going to leave a link down below in the video description. Because it's very, very fun. It gives me a lot of FOMO. It makes me sad but happy, if that makes sense, because I'm very sad I miss out on the event. So yeah, Harlan, I'll give you the spotlight first. Take it away.
Yeah, no, I think the vlogs are great, and there was managed to get Moyen in the latest one.
I saw the thumbnail. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah. When we were trying to leave, he was trying to get us to play this board game, and I think I realised the fun interaction with that guy. He's again with Bennett. I always love seeing him. For me, I've got Harlan Sweetie, the YouTube channel. I tend to just do Sapphire Steel stuff. I do try and do other stuff. I have covered other decks in the past. We have I was saying, I've been mentioning as well as I've been doing content. We have a Metafy that has a sub tier, but it's all the money that I make. I donate every month to a different charity. We just picked one, and behind that is just some more like meta round. We do a meta roundup on there, and it gives you like prices off other stuff. But that's just something I want to be mentioning. And then I'm on Twitter. Everyone seems to message me on Discord, which I love as well. So you can probably do that if you want to. But yeah, all the common places they can find me.
Awesome. And Allie?
Yeah, I think my main thing at the minute is I'm just on Twitter and making vlogs. I've just really enjoyed making them because I feel like there's a lot of content out there about how to like play the game, but there's not much for people who want to know what it's like to go to these events. And as an anxious person, I like to watch these kind of vlogs to be like, what is it going to be like before I get there? So I've enjoyed making those. So yeah.
Awesome. And Kim?
I'm basically Kimberly Ann on everything. I'm mainly Instagram and TikTok. I'm trying to get better at Twitter, or what is now X, but yeah, that's where I am.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining us. For the viewers and the listeners, thank you so much for watching and listening. The number one thing you can do to help us grow and keep doing more podcasts like this to reach episode 200 is leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your local podcast platform. There is a video version of this available over on youtube.com/@PodcanaPodcast. Hit the subscribe while you're there. Twitters are @Kawatech_CG, @KimberlyAnn_, @HarlanSweet, and @AllieSweet. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.